Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the Lean with Leanne Confessions of a Diet Queen podcast. I am extremely excited about my guest this week, somebody who has helped me completely level up my business and just really helped me grow. And I was trying to write down a good introduction for him, but he does so much. I've gone with introducing fitness coach, business coach, mindset master, and king of social media, Jay Alderton. Hello.
Who's that? Who's that you're talking about?
It's you.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. Thank you for asking.
How are you coping with lockdown 3.0?
Do you know, I was pondering on this today. I think obviously lockdown 1.0 was a big surprise to a lot of people. Lockdown 2.0 was probably even worse, and it's kind of a silent but deadly one, lockdown 3, because everyone's kind of used to being told they're in lockdown, but also this one seems to be going on forever. I don't know about you, but there must have been about 17 weeks in January. So
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It's long, and I think a lot of people are just getting a little bit tired now and wanting to get back to a bit of normality.
Yeah, I know. It's craving just a little bit of normal life and human interaction, isn't it? But there we go. Nothing we can do about it. It's out of our control, I guess. So I have got a million questions to ask you. And I think because there's so many projects you have and so many different avenues you work under, we'll start at the beginning. That seems like the appropriate thing to do. So I would like to ask you, how long now have you been in the fitness industry?
I would say I started in the fitness industry when I left the army. So I left the army December 2009 and started my first kind of fitness stuff, as in getting an interest into competing and supplements and protein shakes and all that jazz around 2010. So I'd say officially, I'm going to say around May 2010, which was my first Body Power and the first place I got spotted by my sponsors and started on my fitness journey, really with the fitness industry. I mean, I've been training since the age of 13, but the full fitness industry experience, shall we say, probably started in 2010, so 11 years now.
Wow, 11 years. And how did the transition from army to fitness industry sort of happened? Was there a turning point, or was it just like a natural evolution for you?
I always said I'd leave the army when I stopped enjoying it, and it was just getting to a stage where I'd always looked at the army as a stepping stone onto something else, not my full-time career. And I was just getting this gut feeling that, I've got to where I wanted to be. I've got what I wanted out of the army, and it's time to kind of move onwards and upwards to something else. So it's always a very difficult decision, because with the army you have to give a year's notice. So and you can obviously sign back on, shall we say, within that year, but once I've made a commitment to do something, I always see it all the way through. So for me, that it was a great final year, but I knew that it was the right decision to make, and it was really difficult to adapt to civilian life, because I was just so used to being told to do something and just doing it without question. It wouldn't be a roll your eyes, it wouldn't be anything. You just get it done, and I found it really hard, because leaving the army, people aren't like that. And I did struggle with that, because I was just like, why just follow the plan to the letter? It's not hard. And then you forget as you get older and as you become more of a civilian that actually you're lucky that you've had this drilled into you from the age of 17. And it's a massive kind of asset to be able to just get up and discipline yourself to do things, which is incredibly hard to do, and probably wouldn't have been able to do had I not joined the army at such a young age.
One of the questions I got sent in actually was there any sort of support when you left the services to help you adapt to civilian life? Because I guess it is very different lifestyle.
No. Simple answer, no. I mean, you have what's called resettlement. So with that resettlement process, it's finding yourself qualifications. You get a little bit of a budget to do something, and you're pretty much left on your own. And for a lot of people, you can see they struggle, especially people who've been in a long time. I'd been in only 6.5 years, but I was doing courses with people who've been in 2022, and that's all they knew. And they were just worried, because it is a very different life outside of the army, because you're very much sheltered and protected. You can pretty much go on the piss, the second day of the month, spend all of your money, and you pretty much got a roof over your head and 3 meals a day until you get paid again. But of course, in Civvy Street, that's not the case. And you have to be very kind of proactive. You have to realize that some of your strengths of being able to listen to people and just do stuff is also sometimes a weakness, because, in the army, you have a rank structure. So you look up to people, you respect people, you look, kind of look down at your, you have peers. And it's very hard to understand that in civilian life, because, there are people maybe who haven't gone through the ranks that are in management positions telling you what to do. And you're like, hang on a minute, what are you doing there? And then, it's more of a level playing field, if you know what I mean. This is why it's very interesting. A lot of people in the army get annoyed when they have civilians that come in with and instantly get given, say, a rank. This was a big thing with, civilian contractors that were working with the army. They'd be given ranks of officers. And obviously there's a lot of backlash to that, because it takes many, many years to achieve that, and to be given that straight away with a job posting obviously angers a lot of people, because that's where the kind of you've got to earn your stripes and go up in the ranks comes from.
Yeah, of course. It sounds like the dynamics within the services is very, very different to, like you say, civilian lifestyle. Do you think that being part of the services and having that amount of discipline and routine has been a good thing in terms of your ability to be consistent with your fitness and your training and all your daily habits?
Very much so. And I was also very lucky, because a lot of people that leave the military go one of two ways. They either go the complete opposite way, because they've had a sergeant or an officer yelling at them their entire life, and then not having that, and it enables them to rebel and end up getting into trouble, drugs, prison, etc., etc. And when I left, I needed someone to tell me what to do, and I found bodybuilding. I joined a gym and speaking to the guy, and funny story, and I've said this before, I always said when I left the army, and I was 24 at the time, I was like, right, I'm going to get bang on the gear, right? Because obviously you can't do it in the army. I was like, oh, civilian, I can get bang on the gear now. So I remember going to the owner of the gym and said, right, let's have it all. I don't want to walk through doors anymore. I just want to smash through walls. And he was just like, whoa. I'll tell you what, Jay, there is a natural bodybuilding competition in about 13 weeks time. You've got a good physique, as in like base level physique. I reckon you'll do well at it. So I actually dieted down for 13 weeks, competed. And obviously at first I was just like, what's this natural bodybuilding? This, you just got to stand on a stage in front of about 1,000 people in just a pair of posing pants and looking like orange with tan. So it didn't really appeal to me, but I liked the discipline of it, of having this imaginary person on my shoulder telling me what to eat, telling me what to do. And I came second at that show, and 4 months later I became British champion. So for me, it was always the natural bodybuilding route to go down, because I saw what was possible at those events with the people that were competing. So ever since then, never taken anything apart from a little bit of weed in Amsterdam and the odd creatine monohydrate every now and again.
In the services, is body image, aesthetics, is that a thing, or is it predominantly all about training to be stronger and fitter and obviously get through your basic training and level up that way?
It wasn't initially. The army's pretty much when I was in, it was almost 15 years ago now. Is it 15 years? 2009? No, it's about 11 or 12 years. It does feel like longer. We call people lifters and shifters. So you're either a lifter or you're a shifter. And I was always trying to get a combination of the two. I was always one of the bigger guys in the army, but also one of the, fittest guys as well. And I'd always prided myself that I could lift and shift. But it wasn't really like aesthetics wasn't a really big thing. I remember when I was in, so about 2008, looking at the Muscle and Fitness magazine, I remember there was a guy, Rob Riches, And I looked at him, I was like, how the fuck do you get to look like that? He doesn't even look real with bloody abs. And I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, I train harder than him. How the fuck does he look like that? And obviously my idea of gaining muscle was stopping at Burger King, between driving to, driving through our exercises, and that. I go, oh, bulking up, just get a Burger King.
Bulking, no sulking.
Yeah. Well, I knew everything about training, really, because I've been training since the age of 13, but I didn't know fuck all about diet until I left the army and started obviously focusing on it with competing. And then, I left the army and I joined the fitness industry. So it was a couple of years afterwards that I obviously decided to become a personal trainer.
And how many shows have you competed in now in total?
I competed in 1, 2, 3, 6. I believe it was 6. Yeah, 6 shows.
And I got asked 3 or 4 times, are you going to compete again?
Fuck no. Simple as that. Simple as that. It involves a lot of dedication and sacrifice, all of which I'm not willing to do, because it's not just sacrificing body fat to look good. It's sacrificing weekends with my family. It's sacrificing not drinking gin. It's sacrificing being completely selfish and focusing and prioritizing on my own training, nutrition, and rest and recovery. And I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to sacrifice that now to get lean and ripped and maybe win a plastic trophy. So.
And I think it's really interesting that you say that, because I do see at the moment there's almost like this shift in the fitness industry to kind of come across to a bit more of a realistic view on the human body and, what it is you actually need to do to achieve that look. Would you agree that the fitness industry is shifting a bit more to being a bit more fully rounded in its approach?
No. I will tell you why.
Okay.
And the reason being, and why I thought this, I was like, everything's changed since I first joined, like Facebook and Instagram. Everyone, is all more about healthy, active lifestyle and less extreme. And it wasn't true. The reality is you've unfollowed the people which you used to follow, and now you follow less bellends and more sensible people. So when you're on social media now, it feels like it's changed because you're following different people to when you initially was on there. And that was the reality. I don't follow bodybuilders. I don't follow people who eat out of Tupperware boxes anymore. I don't follow those. But that was my entire news feed 10 years ago. So it's still there. It's just people change.
Yeah, you're actually thinking about that. You are 100% right. I do remember one day just thinking, oh, fuck this. I can't follow all this shit. I'm never going to look like that. So I can't keep looking at it. So yeah, you are 100% right. Which brings me on to social media and fitness. At the moment, obviously, social media doesn't seem to have any sort of regulation when it comes to who talks about fitness, who talks about nutrition, and who sells absolute BS plans and supplements and products. Do you ever see there being a time where social media almost becomes a bit more of a safer place and it's regulated in terms of health and fitness?
No. And I'll tell you another reason why I think that. People are very much relying on other people to do their job for them instead of taking responsibility for their own health and happiness. It's kind of like this magic pill solution, as in, oh, I just want to go onto these platforms and I want it to be controlled, so only the right things get shown in front of me. That pretty much sounds like Facebook's entire marketing billion-dollar strategy, because then you are now not free to choose what you want to look at and listen and learn as a free, as a free country. Now you get dictated to what you should and shouldn't be thinking and feeling, because who's to, one of the things is that who's to say that somebody's way of doing something is right or wrong, especially when it comes to nutrition. As you and I know, And you and I dislike you're strongly against slimming worlds. I'm strongly against keto. But for some people, it works. For some people, it's a system that's been put in for many, many years that has helped people change their lives. And if somebody else deems that incorrect and that doesn't get fed to somebody, who's the right and the wrong in doing that? And this is the most important thing. Do I agree that there are some things that should never be on social media? Of course, there are very extreme things, but I think it should be less of the responsibility of the individuals. Sorry, the platforms are more about the individual, and this is why very much why I say to people it's the importance of filtering your news feed, the importance of knowing what triggers you, what annoys you, and things, and clearing it out.
Yeah.
And a thing that I say to people all the time is that if someone knocked on your house, walked in your door and took a shit in your living room, would you let them? And the answer is no. But every single day, people take a shit in your head because you allow them to. You allow them into the door of your head, and you just need to close that fucker. And the only way you're going to close that is by restricting these things. If something triggers you, ask yourself 2 questions. Is this triggering me because it's wrong and it's incorrect, in which case unfollow? Is it triggering me because it's giving me the harsh reality of what I need, in which case maybe listen and learn to understand, because you can block that out, but that's just like an ostrich dipping its head into the sand. You come back up and the problem hasn't been resolved.
Yeah. Have you always had a strong ability to do what you're saying, or has your mindset been something that you've had to really work on, especially coming from starting in a fitness industry that is obviously full of pretty damn good physiques?
I think I was very fortunate because I'm coming from a military background, having done 2 operational tours of Iraq. There is no fear in doing pull-ups for a living, and I have no worry about I'm quite happy to step in the middle of a battlefield and not being afraid to step in foot in a gym. And for me, it's very fortunate because it was perspective. I had that confidence about me because I had a big perspective on what I used to do. So once again, I was very fortunate to have matured from a very young age, growing up in the military, which served me so well. Firstly, being disciplined in a job which requires it because you're on your own, essentially 20 hours a day. Which it was at the time, because I was working far too much. And the fact that I had confidence in my abilities because they'd been tested from a very young age too. And once again, I look back and go, I was so lucky that I had that opportunity to join the army at a young age, get all of those life skills and transition that into the fitness industry.
I guess as well, in the grand scheme of things, standing on stage in your pants is probably nowhere near as shit scary as standing in the middle of Iraq on a battlefield.
Yeah, and I say it's just perspective. But at the same time, one of the things that took me the longest when I became a personal trainer was empathy for others, because I didn't realize how lucky I was. I didn't realize that, I was like, you just assume everyone thinks like you, because I've just come from spending 6.5 years in an environment where everyone thinks like me. And then suddenly realizing, from my whole teenage years to my early teens, that no, people don't always take orders and just do things. People don't always have your back. You can't trust every single person around you. And that was a massive wake-up call for me as well.
So as a coach, how did you kind of develop your way of thinking in terms of getting empathy? Was it just a case of realizing that you were working with a lot of people with a lot of different issues and going from there, or how did you kind of adapt to your clientele?
At first, it was, for me, I was very results driven. And I'd always had this no bullshit approach, and it was just complete honesty with people. And the thing is that I valued what it was that I was doing. I got people results, and if I wasn't getting you results, it wasn't my problem. It wasn't going to be my problem. It was going to be yours. And it was kind of a very military kind of thing, because all of my clients were getting incredible results because I would let them know that, look, you're paying me a lot of money. And it is my mission now to take that money and make sure that you get what you pay for. But I can only do that as if you're honest with me, if you're open with me, and if you listen to me. And I think starting with that kind of contractual agreement with each other is why I got so many people results, because I was just honest with them, and this wasn't, thing that was very different is that I was struggling at first as a PT, because I'd just been made redundant in 2012. I just had a mortgage. I had no money. I had about £800 in the bank and no job. And luckily, I had a credit card. Stuck 16 grand on it. Got this little PT studio, which wasn't PT studio. It was just under this on this industrial estate. Kitted it out with a squat rack, some dumbbells which I got from eBay, and had to repaint with Hammerite paint, and got to work. Literally got to work with no clients whatsoever. And it was a realization that no one's going to come to me here. I'm like, the only thing next to me is an open prison, and I'm right on an industrial estate, so I need to go to people. But I also had the confidence to know that, I'd been training since the age of 13. I am a new personal trainer, but I know what I'm doing. I care about the people that I work with, and fortunately as well that I'd never ever seen another PT work. So the way that I worked was that I realized that most trainers cared about the 1 hour that they're with their clients, and I gave a shit about the other 23.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just come and have a 45-minute to an hour session with me. It would be, how much sleep are you getting? What's your nutrition like? What are your weekends like? And then having that accountability through every variable enable people to get such incredible results. And it wasn't until I started hanging around with more PTs that I realized that they weren't chatting to their clients on the weekend. They weren't writing them up nutrition plans. They weren't doing check-ins and weigh-ins and chats with them. And I was, which is once again why I was getting such good results with people. And I was putting these on the internet, which was, this is 2012, 2013 Facebook. And, people wouldn't believe the transformations I was getting. And my business grew from there as well, because, I'd put one incredible transformation that would get 10 clients. And that's where my my online business started, all the way back. I think it was 2013 where most of my business started building online.
Wow. And then I think for those people that maybe look at your social media now and see how amazing your business is and how much it's grown, probably would never believe that you were originally working out of a little studio back in the day.
Yeah. And this is the thing, when I have PTs come to me, and obviously this is pre-pandemic, saying, oh, I'm at a Pure Gym with 2,000 members and I'm struggling to get clients. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, I would have killed for that. Killed for that.
Yeah.
I had 0 clients, 0 people walking through the door. I'm on a fucking industrial site. I had to literally, my way of getting clients was to take the train 2.5 hours up to London, sit in Oxford Circus Costa because it had free Wi-Fi, and get people from the internet to come for 30-minute diet consultations down the stairs, and then write their diet programs up on a Sunday, and then go back to work Monday and Friday, where I, at that time, had 2 or 3 clients coming to see me. You have to be proactive. It's like, how many conversations have you had with these 2,000 members that are going through the door each day? And you look at most PTs around there, they're on their phone and they're only actually speaking to people that are paying them money. And it's just like, you've got to get out of your comfort zone for things. You've got to, a personal trainer is more than just counting reps. It's communicating with people. It's understanding people. It's listening. It's empathizing. It's understanding.
100%. And what I see is a industry now that is becoming more and more saturated with personal trainers, because I do think people see online coaches who maybe have big followings and think, oh, that can be me, that can be me. But the truth is, you and I both know that it is hard work, and 100% believe that it's not just about that hour. I think actually my work is probably more important the times they need me. There isn't that workout. In fact, that workout is probably the easiest part of personal training that person. So I 100% agree with you. So let's move on now to social media, your absolute forte, and how you have become known for being the master of content and TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. How have you kind of adapted to becoming a coach who now mostly serves via social media platforms and online?
I think a lot of it came, I wouldn't say easy. It's just my background. When I left the army, I actually worked abroad in psychological operations for the US government. So I was actually stationed in Iraq for a year, doing very sneaky beaky stuff, manipulating TV programs and stuff to fit political agendas. So very interesting work. And I learned a lot about understanding people, and that kind of transitioned into kind of an obsession and understanding of social media, where I say to a lot of people, don't be a consumer, be a creator. A consumer is someone who gets triggered and angry with things that are online. A creator sees that and goes, what's the opportunity there? As in, why are people angry? Oh, there's lots of views, lots of shares on that. And a lot of people are coming to me saying, well, how do I get more eyes on my stuff? And it's just like, well, success leaves clues. Although that thing was very negative online, that got a lot, I completely disagree with it. And one could say could trigger a lot of people. It also got the most shares and views for the day. But then again, you need to ask yourself, do I want to be that person who, puts polarizing content up, which angers people for likes and views? And the answer to that is no. But it's also understanding that what your content needs to do is it needs to spark emotion. Of course, the emotion that we're talking about there is anger and fear. And what gets just as much likes, shares, views, saves is things that are motivational, things that are useful, things that are inspirational. And I always said to myself that my content strategy will always be leaving people better than I found them. And that is a great strategy for a lot of people, because more people will tune into my stuff if they know that the last time that they tuned in, they felt great. And it's a great quote. I forget who said the quote, but I had it on my wall for years when I was working at home, and it was, people will always forget what you said, but they'll never forget the way that you made them feel. And if you can create content based on that, you will always win the game. You'll never be worried about growing an audience. You'll never be worried about building up your client base, because you're in it for the right reason. And it's waking up every day thinking to yourself, what value can I bring to the world today, instead of what can I take from the world today?
Yes, I totally agree. And the question I got asked so many times was, where do you get all your ideas from for all of your content?
People overcomplicate content. I think that's one of the biggest things. If I think it and I think it's funny, the chances are that there are a small warped sense of humor people out there that would like it too. And it's just the ability to understand how to put that into a piece of content. And there are different techniques that you can do to understand that. A great one to use is what's called the AIDA technique, and it's attention. So your content needs to grab attention within the first 3 seconds, because that's what makes people stop scrolling and watch what it is that you're doing. It needs to be valuable information. It needs to be summarized easily. And for us, obviously, marketers, which every single fitness professional should be, it should have a strong call to action at the end to tell people to follow you or to sign up to something that you're going to give value to them for. So we then need to think, what's the most important thing here? Is it the information? Well, no, because that's I of the aider. What the most important thing is that attention. So how do we grab attention? And it's knowing what your audience wants. Me as a fitness professional, me as a business coach and mindset coach, knows very, very well the three biggest problems for people who want to lose weight and people who want to grow their business. And it's knowing what to say with those action points that makes people stop and listen.
Yeah, it's, I mean, my social media completely leveled up after doing my first course with you. I think, back in the day when you used to have the Grenade Fit gym and you did your very first media mastery day before the days of the online course, and we came up to your gym and did the course for the day. And I remember to this day you saying to us, you always want to be solving people's problems in your content. You always want to be answering the questions that will continually be asked all the time within your industry. And that was really powerful for my social media.
And it's what people need. You know, you are in a position of help. You know, you're helping people get healthier, happier, fitter, and stronger. And what you do in real life, what you do physically, is just exactly the same as what you do online, because they're the same people. They're the same people that need help. A lot of people don't know that they need help, which is why the method of delivery needs to come in many different ways. There's more than one way of skinning a cat. But we all know, you know, as fitness professionals, that all of them equate to one outcome, and that is a calorie deficit if you're looking to drop body fat. But there's many different ways of doing it, and there's many different ways of explaining how best to do it as well. And that a lot of it comes through your content, your stories, your messages, and, you know, your successful clients that work with you too.
When you are coaching other fitness professionals and people are talking about their social media, do you find that a lot of people are quite fear-driven when it comes to what they post, how often they post, and kind of like the feedback they get from the posts that they do?
Yes, I think a lot of people, especially fitness professionals, are really concerned what other fitness professionals will think of their posts. And the thing that I say to them all the time is they're not the ones that are paying your bills. If you have a personal trainer that has gone out of their way to correct you on your own content, then it says more about them than it does about you. Because why on earth are they spending time on yours when you're not paying any of their bills? Why are they not going out to help solve people's problems instead of creating problems on your page and wasting time? And when you understand that, you learn to give less of a fuck about it.
Yeah.
Because if somebody corrects me and I'm wrong, I'll apologize and correct it. If someone corrects me and I'm right, I will apologize and not correct it. Sometimes 1 + 1 = 3, because sure thing, mate, because I can get on with my day as long as you believe that that's free. Because I ain't got fucking time to argue with you. There's people that need my help, and there's this thing that I love to say is never play chess with a pigeon, because a pigeon will just shit you'll win the game. The pigeon will shit all over the board and it will strut around like it won. So just put your thumb up, agree, and just get on with your day. You don't need to prove that you're right to anybody.
And this leads me on to my next question nicely, which is, you obviously have a very large following, very popular on social media. How do you bat away the negative feedback? I'm guessing, as someone who has a lot of followers, that you're always gonna get one prick who wants to start a fight. How do you learn to switch yourself off to that?
I've learned it for ages. What you do, if you hold down these two buttons, right, and do that, right, and then you do that, all your problems go away. It is amazing. As soon as this is disconnected from the world and you throw it away, you have no more problems. And that is one of the best pieces of advice that I can give people. If you are too much glued to that, switch that fucker off for a day, get back to a bit of normality and reality. Because all of those people that are commenting negatively probably will never meet you. And if you didn't have that phone, would have never known that you existed. So fuck them.
Yeah, very true. Is this where Phone Swap Thursday came from then?
Exactly. Phone Swap Thursday. It is currently Wednesday. Tomorrow is Phone Swap Thursday, and I'll probably switch that off now, which probably won't get switched back on. I need to, because I need to have a chat with you on after this. So,
And I was going to say to you, as somebody who is spinning so many plates in terms of how many people you are actually helping as an online fitness coach, PT, as a business mentor, with Phone Swap Thursday, do you struggle with it? Like, because I can just imagine it would, like, it's something I want to implement, but it would give me anxiety thinking, oh my God, I've got so much to do and I need to answer all these people.
it used to many years ago, but not anymore. Because if I have anxiety about having a day off, that means that I haven't given somebody else the role to do that thing on that day. So I'm not doing my job correctly. Simple as that. You know, you ask yourself, what can't I do today? And the reality is if you can't do it, it means that you haven't delegated it. And if you haven't delegated it to somebody else, then how do you expect to grow your business? You know, one of the things that you as a coach needs to understand is that you're a business. You're not just you're not just a person. And you need to build up a team of like-minded people around you that believe in your mission and believe in your journey. And then the next thing is trusting that they can do that, knowing that they won't be as good as you yet, but the only way that they can get as good as you, if not hopefully better than you, is by trusting them to make the mistakes that you made that got you to where you are today.
Very true. And that brings me on to, when I read your first book, oh yeah, best-selling author as well, I should have added to the introduction as well. When I read your first book, I was really interested to read about how you initially struggled when you started becoming successful in having that work-life balance. Is that something that you think you've got nailed now? And how did you teach yourself to be okay with having that balance?
It took a meltdown to happen. I think you need to get to a breaking point to realize that things can't carry on like this. And mine was 2016. You know, I think a lot of coaches, the biggest problem is that you spend a lot of time trading time for money. And the only way that you can get more money is to trade more time. When you're conditioned to that, which most PTs are when they first start out, that you end up in this rut of working every hour under the sun, and you don't want to reduce those hours because you see your income going up. And it's not until that you change the systems, change the process, and find ways of scaling your business that you understand that actually hiring more people to do the jobs that you're doing, working less so you can be more creative, and taking things like weekends off and days off when you want, and that's okay. And then suddenly you see that your income increases from doing that, then you pat yourself on the back and go, right, I've seen it now, so I can do it. And that's what you need to do. You need to trust that that is the actual answer, that more isn't always better. It's just better systems and working smarter. It's trusting people to make mistakes and obviously learn from them and grow, and knowing that there's more to the business than you. You know, if you want to grow something exponential and successful, it's got to be more than you. So I went from doing more and more and more. I used to be the person that would say, sleep 2 hours less a day so you get an extra month up for the year to get shit done. But there's no point in being up for another month if you're knackered. My working day was up at 4, go to bed at 1. And I'd be smiling because I'm up again at 3, and people are, oh, you're relentless, Jamie. I'm like, yeah. And then suddenly absolutely exhausted, drained, you know, split up from my wife temporarily, massive strain on my entire life. And it took that to suddenly realize that I'm doing it all wrong. And in order to change that, I needed to tell everyone to fuck off. I needed to prioritize myself, my time, my family, and figure out how to do it while still, you know, while still having the things that I needed to get back. And it was only 2019 that I pretty much replicated the success of 2016 and done more whilst having another child, my son Archer, and took nearly every weekend off, every Thursday off, and was off social media after 8 p.m. and actually had a better year in 2019 than my most successful year, which was at that time before the meltdown in 2016.
So being in your Trainer Mind Elite group at the moment, I always love when you say to us about how when you do your phone swap Thursday, that day is the day that you have like the most amount of creative ideas, come up with content. So would you say having that break from being consumed by business and social media allows your brain to sort of like run wild?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, usually my Thursday when we're not in a lockdown is I switch my phone off the night before, doesn't come back on Thursday. I go for a walk, sea dip, and then I am off to a very nice spa a few miles up the road where I'll spend all day with a notepad, pen and books, sitting in the jacuzzi, getting a massage, having a nice 3-course meal, and pampering myself for the day every Thursday. And that is one of my most productive business growth days. Just taking a day out every single week to completely switch off. The first week I did it, I felt guilty as fuck. I was like, I can't believe like I'm leaving like animal wives at home with the kids and I'm sitting there pampering myself. And then I realized that this is an important day. You know, the reason that I've created a life that I've got now is because you know, of the creative ideas that I come up with because of the thousands of people I work with. And you've got to treat yourself like $1 million racehorse. And what I mean by that is that if you'd spent let's say £1 million, on a racehorse, that you'd feed it the best food, you'd give it the most rest, and you'd look after it. Why? Because every time it gets to that start line, it wins the fucking race.
Yeah.
So and you're that £1 million racehorse. So if you're tired, if you're not fed properly and rested, you're not going to win any fucking race. And when you look at it like that, you're like, right, come on, let's have a pamper day every single week.
I always remember the first time I joined the Trainer Mind course, but like the very first one you did before, again, you had this amazing online platform with it. And I remember doing a Zoom call or a Skype, and you said to me, Leanne, you can't serve people from an empty vessel. And I've never forgotten that quote.
Yep. And it's so important, you know, it adds to the $1 million racehorse, analogy that I use. You've got to look after yourself. And this doesn't mean being completely selfish. What you have to understand is here's the thing. You as a $1 million racehorse makes people lots of money because they've spent $1 million on you because they're going to return more than they spent.
Yeah.
You taking a day off of selfishness allows you to be more creative, come up with better ideas so you can best serve more people. So your small day of selfishness means you get more days of selflessness because you can impact the world bigger.
I love that. I love that analogy. Let's talk about your sea dips, okay? Because I think you're coming up to a 1-year anniversary, aren't you, of dipping every day?
Yeah, I mean, I started doing sea dips 2018, and when it got to the winter period, it went from kind of, you know, Monday to Friday to just one every week to one every 2 weeks, and, you know, wait till it gets a bit warmer, and then maybe, you know, 3 or 4 a week. And then the first lockdown hit, and I just like, right, I know that sea dips make me feel great, even though they're hard to do. Let's do it every fucking day. And bar my 10 days in isolation and 2 or 3 days where I had Eliza on one of my walks, I've been in pretty much every day.
Oh, it was -1 degree yesterday.
It was -1 yesterday, but it was only 7 in the sea, so the sea was warmer than it was outside.
How long has it taken you to get used to that? Well, is it like shock when you go into that cold water first thing in the morning?
Every single day, same shock.
And before that, it was the cold shower, wasn't it?
So that's where it all originated from in 2018. You know, I was like, right, I want to get into this cold water malarkey, but I don't want to jump straight into the sea. That seems a bit extreme. So I'm going to do a cold shower challenge. So I, committed to doing 30 days of cold showers every single day without fail. And yeah, I mean, the first 7 days, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Day 8, what is this? Why do people do this? It's shit. Day 9, day 10, yeah, well, I'm not feeling fuck all from doing this. It's just annoying. Day 12, day 13, a little bit different. Day 14, I had a 3-minute cold shower. Didn't even feel the cold that much. Day 18, I was at a swimming pool, and one of the old guys there said, "Oh, you don't want to go in those showers; they're freezing." And it was so funny because obviously I was 18 or 19 days into the cold shower challenge, put it on, and just had a shower like it was nothing. And he just looked at me like, and I was like, he doesn't know that I've just gone through 19 days of doing this. He just thinks I'm a freak. So I was just like, I kind of like this cold shower shit now. You kind of look cool. And then did 30 days, and I realized that my mood was improving. I was feeling better. I felt like I'd achieved something early in the day. It invigorated me, and I always had a smile on my face at the end. And I was just like, right, I get it now. But had I just done it for a week, I wouldn't have got it. Had I done it for 10 days, I wouldn't have got it. It's making that commitment to see something through until you see the benefit in doing it. And this is the same with cold showers. This is the same with learning a new habit, same with exercise. You've got to keep doing the shit stuff that you don't want to do until you realize finally why you're doing it. And usually with fat loss, with fitness and that, sometimes takes a few weeks. It does. It takes but 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And you don't see why you're doing it, you don't see the point, and then you catch up one of your best mates and they go, wow, you look amazing, what have you been doing? That one conversation there and then will completely change your consistency, because now you see why you're doing it, because of that.
And this is almost like we planned this conversation to round up this part, but I think as a business mentor as well, that is something that you taught me with my social media was, you've got to be consistent. And in the beginning, you're not really going to see much of a return, but eventually it will pay off. And I think a lot of people probably are looking for that fast return. And that's the same with dieting and training. They're looking for that quick fix, those results to come in quick. And then that's why they tend to quit, because they just don't see the return they want and don't remain consistent.
And yeah, I mean, it's the same with everything. When it comes to consistency with content, you're not just doing it to get the likes and shares. You're doing it to get better. So you're doing it to understand what works better. You're doing it to become better at designing things, editing things, videoing things, filming things. You become better copywriter because you learn what works when you write more. The more that you write, the better that you get. You should see it was funny. I was saying to someone, I've written 2 best-selling books, but I got a D in GCSE English. My grammar is shocking. In fact, there's actually grammar mistakes in my first book, and I asked the publishers to keep it in because I looked at it as a filter system. If anyone corrected me on that, then they were getting too caught up in the mess rather than the message. And I remember my mum sent me an email that I sent to her in 2008 from when I was in Iraq, and I'd spell anyways, N space E ways. And I look at obviously my writing now, and that's a good 8 years, 9 years, 10 years of writing every single day. It gets better. I look at my first videos that I used to record for YouTube, stuttering and stumbling and ums and ahs, and I compare it to now, and I'm just like, wow. So how'd you get so good at doing video content? I was like, well, 2015, my first hire was a videographer, and his job was to knock on my door at 9 and finish at 4 and shove a camera in my face all day, 5 days a week. And hence why I got good at doing it. And somebody actually messaged me today and said, how have you got so many followers on Instagram? And I said, 9 years and 6,018 posts.
I saw that on your story.
It's a funny thing, this consistency game. His actual response to that was, yeah, and hashtags. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't actually start and I was like, oh, I didn't actually start using hashtags till about a year ago. But yeah, thanks.
Wow. Someone will always try and find an excuse not to put the work in, I think.
People
Which,
are people are just looking for shortcuts, and if you
yeah,
think that hashtags are, you can't put hashtags on shit content. It doesn't work.
which brings me on to um, asking you to talk about your trainer mind side of the business, because I will say this without blowing too much smoke up your ass. I joined the Trainer Mind program the very first time that you brought it out. Like I said, when we came to Grenade Fit and we did a course there, and I am now on Trainer Mind Elite and have been for a few months. And obviously, you have played a huge part in the growth of my business, from coming up with the name Lean with Leanne to helping me with my branding, helping me with my website, my social media. I've done Media Mastery 1 and 2. And I think the value of the content and your mentorship is phenomenal.
Thank you.
So you're very welcome. And it's actually been nice to be part of it from the beginning to now, because the way it has grown from, there being 15 of us in your gym to now, I mean, how many people have you got in your Trainer Mind program?
All in all, there's about 250, 300.
Amazing, amazing. And I obviously work at a gym, and I know a lot of personal trainers, and I would highly recommend anybody looking to level up their business or transition online. And I think the pandemic has given us all that, necessity to adapt and go online. Then I would highly recommend it. How can anybody get involved and become part of your Trainer Mind mentorship?
I will say that if you are listening back to this this week, and hopefully you hear this before the 22nd of Feb, and if not, do not worry, there'll be more coming. I've come up with the idea to do a fitness business challenge at the end of this month. And the basic challenge is to get you out of your comfort zone, to do things that you need to do to build a six-figure business. And why a six-figure business? Because it seems to be the holy grail, apparently, for people to get to as a coach. And a lot of people want to know how they do this. And what I'm going to be doing for these 7 days is giving people an uncomfortable week. And this uncomfortable week is going to get you to do very simple things and different things every day that you need to do as a non-negotiable every single week in your business anyway, if you want to get your business to where it is. So I'm very excited because it's the first time I've mentioned this on this podcast, but it is
Exclusive.
going to be is my 7-day fitness business challenge. It is going to be free, and it's going to be a bit of a business boot camp for 7 days, getting you out of your comfort zone. Surround yourself with some like-minded coaches as well, which I think is very important, because a lot of coaches in the industry don't speak to each other and collaborate. And it will change your business a lot. It will. In that week, you'll realize the things that you weren't doing before, the things that you need to do, and the things that you will hopefully do going forward.
That sounds so exciting. I am buzzing for that. And thanks for the exclusive. I'll be posting that on
You're
my
welcome.
social media tonight when I've uploaded my podcast. You also have Calorie Leads, which is like a new project that you have been running. How is that going? What is that about? Again, another great aspect of building your business if you are a fitness professional listening to this.
Yeah, so the story came from, I think it was about 2016. I spent tens of thousands of pounds on a new website. It was a disaster. I realized that, I had a better converting page on a $97 ClickFunnels marketing page than I did on a £10,000 website. But one thing was working, because I had Google Analytics on there, and we were getting 1,500 views or hits on this one page on my website every single week. And it was my TDEE calculator. It was a very popular calculator. In fact, if you type Jamie Alderton in Google, it says Jamie Alderton TDE calculator. It's one of the most searched things. It's weird, because if you do search my name, it says musical artist now, which I think is very, very weird. But I've got to learn how to sing now.
Get a ukulele.
Exactly. Yeah. But what it showed me was that so many people, obviously the first thing that people are looking for before they start their fitness journey or when they go on a new journey, is to work out how many calories they need. And not enough people understand total daily energy expenditure, and a lot of people search for that. So my idea for that was to take that to enable fitness professionals to not only have a great calculator, a custom TDE calculator of their own to have in their business, but to be able to use that to pick up email leads of people that need help and then reach out to them to see how they can help. So not only does it connect the client with a good calculator to get started on their journey, it also enables them to communicate with the coach who can help them on their journey too. So it works really well from both sides because you're connecting with the potential clients that need your help, and it helps the personal trainer to get that nice, lead generation which they need in their business to make sure that they're being able to create a bigger impact to get people healthier, happier, fitter and stronger.
Love it, which is the ultimate goal. And if somebody wants to have a look, that can be found on your website?
So that's you can sign up for free, so you can create your free calculator, and that will also give you 10 leads a week for free, and that's calorieleads.io.
Boom, there you go. If you want your calculator, that's how you get it. And I'm guessing you'll be dropping information on your fitness business challenge on your socials.
Yep, next Monday will be the official announcement, but you've got the exclusive here first.
Hey, thanks. And how are those beautiful kiddies of yours? I love seeing them on your social media. Eliza in her little dancing dress and Archer trying to do his pull-ups.
Oh, he's a nightmare. He's an absolute nightmare. Like Eliza, when she was younger, you didn't need to worry. You didn't need to worry whatsoever. She'd be running up and down the patio, and just before she gets to the step, everyone around us was like, and we would chill. We would just chill. We're like, yeah, no, she'll figure it out. She'll be fine. And she always was, because she was sensible, because she was, she was a female. Bring the boy into the equation and goes, because he has split his head open more times than we went to A&E because he headbutted a post. He bit a massive chunk out of his tongue a couple of days ago. He's a living, walking nightmare. And you can't take your eye off him for a second. And if it gets quiet, then panic because something's going to get broken. So keeps me on my toes, which is great, which is exactly what I need. They're an absolute positive time suck because I love spending time with them. And it just enables me very much every day to realize why I'm doing all of this. And it's for them. It's to have the lifestyle that I've, built now. And that really helps humble me down a lot when it comes to, this pandemic period and that, because something that I say to myself every day is that I have everything that I already need right here and everything else is a bonus. And it has, it's given me an immense amount of gratitude for life, which actually enables me to, work harder in my job on the days and the times that I do work.
I love that. And I love how much they absorb everything you do. Like, I remember you putting an Instagram story up and Archer was messing about and I could hear Eliza talking about your 10-day tune-up and I thought she's listening to her dad.
She knows the entire marketing campaign. She knows when the final day she goes, oh, we converting them into the so are we putting them into the 6-week challenge now, Jay? I said, well, hopefully all of them sign up. I mean, hopefully Daddy's done a good job. And she goes, yeah, but the 10-day tune-up's really good. And I was like, no, that's, so she knows. She knows.
I love it. And you do all your live workouts with your family as well, which I love as well.
Yeah, we got another one tonight. I've actually been doing them at a studio because just the last couple of ones because I've been working late and I'm just like, I could rush home and do it, or I could just set the camera up here. But tonight, Anna said to me, right, I need we slipped a couple of gins in last night. And she goes, right, Wednesday you're coming back home to do it. So yeah, it's nice. It wears Archer out as well, which makes him easier to go to bed. So yeah, he absolutely loves it. So as soon as he hears the music, he starts squatting straight away because he recognizes the music.
I love that. And shout out to Anna as well, who's looking insane at the moment. I saw a picture on her Instagram. She's been training hard, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has. She's been training really hard. I mean, I've been thing is, last year I committed to not drinking for 4 months and it was great for us. And now I'm bringing her down a dark path, I think, because I'm like, so do you want, it's like, gets to a Thursday and I'm like, do you want a bottle of wine? She goes, yes. And I was like, you're not helping me on this one. She goes, I'm trying to get in shape and you're always saying bloody wine. And I'm like, well, I'm just catching up for lost time, because 4 months it was like she was the one saying, do you want a bottle of wine? I was like, no, I'm not drinking till the rest of the year. So yeah, I'm leading her down. I'm leading her down a dark path now, which is kind of working, but kind of not.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come onto my podcast today and answer some amazing questions. I know that will be so helpful to many people in the industry and people in general. And just a personal one, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your help with my business and helping me with a work-life balance, because I can hand on heart say there's no way my business would have ever been this successful if it wasn't for your help and your guidance. And I certainly won't be doing a podcast because I didn't have a fucking clue how to set it up until you told me to.
You're welcome, Leanne. And something I say to people all the time is that I can give you the tools, I can show you where the buried treasure is, but you're the one who has to dig down and get it. So, as much as I've guided you, you've done it all yourself with your relentless work ethic and, ability just to absorb, and what a lot of people don't do, apply. Thank
you so much. Thank you, Jay. You're really welcome. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next week with my next guest.